Good morning, guys. This is Nick with Port City Pools, and this is Presents Cape Fear Coffee and Comics. Cheers. This morning, as I'm enjoying my coffee, I'm going to be reading 3 more titles from Ignition Press. We've got by the Miranda brothers, Arcadia. I've heard some great things about that. We've got Jeremy Haun's The Beauty, which I believe has to deal with, I thought this was dealing with vampirism, but I believe it has something to do with sexually transmitted diseases. Always nice to read that over coffee. And then Leah Williams' Voyeur. So I'm going to start reading these guys, and I'll give you my thoughts on each of those. We got some dogs all up in our business. Okay, all right. Let's stay right there. All right, guys, I just finished reading Leah Williams and David Baldeón's Voyeur, and I gotta say, this is a fantastic read. The writing is great. It's not heavy words. It's not heavily worded in this first issue just because of kind of what's transpiring. But the storyboarding, though, the writing is fantastic. The art by David is great as well, and I thought it looked familiar as far as some of the style and some of the lines. But he did Ben Reilly's Spider-Man for Marvel. Both of them have done some big box, comics. But I will tell you, this story picks up with our titular character, Rook, or Farouk, goes by Rook, as a security guard. It's mainly just him in the command center, kind of like where all the security cameras are on monitors for this resort that Madeline shows up as a guest for, and he finds himself like watching her, and where is the title, but you realize as it's going on, he's not just some weirdo voyeur, that he's actually there for a reason. He's an artist, he knows art. It appears that Madeline maybe works for in the art industry, but what ends up transpiring and how they end up connecting is fantastic. Just a great surprise, and I cannot wait to see what Rook and Madeline get up to and the following issues. Not sure how many is out already, but this is issue 1. Ignition Press doesn't miss, guys. So next up, I will be reading The Beauty. Alright, guys, I just finished reading Jeremy Haun's The Beauty, and it is a beauty. The art by Jason Hurley in it is fantastic, very realistic. And I will say, even though I knew this had something to do with like a global STD, I was not expecting it to be like this. So it's essentially a global STD that makes people beautiful. But there's a lot more to the story than that. There's these different groups of people. What feels like this other clandestine kind of secretive group or organization, and I think maybe something with this STD was maybe manufactured and intended to evolve into something much more, but I have no idea what's going on, and it's like left me with a period, like a serious cliffhanger. So I can't wait to read more and figure out what is going on with this. But really good writing, really good art. Next up is going to be Arcadia. I'm really enjoying these reads this morning. Hope you're enjoying listening to it. Alright, guys, I finished reading the Miranda brothers, Arcadia. And what an awesome futuristic fantasy sci-fi kind of read. I don't even know how to describe this story, but it's really beautiful. The writing's great. The story is amazing. The art is so detailed. I'm going to show you. Just like some of these pages are works of art. Something else that's really cool in here is you get to certain pages, and there's QR codes that show you, or that you can scan for the theme music that's playing and kind of the soundtrack as you go along. What an immersive read. But the titular characters, Halu and Fix, I think we're going to see kind of an epic story of how they eventually find a way to produce a child, since kind of all these humanoids seemingly are somewhat machine, or somewhat like synthoids that are born from machines. But really cool read. And I will say that the main characters have no idea how mankind became extinct, so there's like this theme of trying to figure out what happens after their kind of synthoid death, and just showing the world as it exists now. It's not really a Fallout kind of future, because there is an organization to society. There's somewhat peace. There's some concepts and tropes that are remind me of Fallout or Borderlands or something like that, but I really love this. I think this is probably one of my favorite reads from Ignition Press, but great job by the Miranda brothers. But thanks for joining me for another Cape Fear Coffee and Comics. Hope you guys have a great Saturday.